Look around. The world is full of men who've already lost. Not in war, not in business, not even in love. They've lost in silence to lust. Not the fiery, passionate lust that poets once wrote of, but the hollow kind, the numbing kind, the kind that doesn't ask for your soul all at once. Just a piece of it, day by day. They didn't fall on a battlefield. They weren't defeated by an enemy stronger or smarter. They lost in their own bedrooms, in the glow of blue light, scrolling endlessly through illusions. Desire used to be a compass pointing toward creation, conquest, legacy. Now, it's a cage. Men who were meant to build empires now build playlists. Men who once dreamed of adventure now settle for pixels. Their hands are idle, but their minds are consumed. Consumed by cravings they no longer question, by pleasures they no longer enjoy, by habits that once seemed harmless, but now hold them by the throat. They wake up tired, not from battle, from stagnation, not from failure, from nothingness. They speak of goals, but their eyes betray them. The fire is gone, replaced with fog. They chase motivation like a drug, but what they need is discipline. What they lack is purpose. And what's killing them is silence. Because no one talks about this. No one warns them that lust unchecked, unchallenged, is not just a thief of time. It is a killer of kings. This isn't about purity. This isn't about shame. This is about power. Your power. Every moment you give away to lust is a moment stolen from your mission, from the book unwritten, the business unbuilt, the strength untrained, the greatness unrealized. You were not born for comfort. You were not designed to chase pleasure. You were made to hunt meaning, to build, to fight, to rise. The war isn't out there. It's inside you, and the battlefield is now. Win it, or die slowly in silence. Like the rest, you see it everywhere. Men, hollow-eyed, hunched over screens, scrolling like it's survival. Not for knowledge, not for purpose, but for fantasy. Chasing pixels dressed as pleasure, swiping through illusions, tapping into empty highs. Their hearts beat faster for women who don't know they exist, while the real world rots around them. They beg for attention, from strangers who sell the shape of desire but never its soul. They double-tap validation, hoping it fills a void that only discipline ever could. But here's the part no one says out loud. If you can't control your lust, you're not in control of your life. You think you're choosing. You're not. You're reacting, like a puppet strings pulled by hunger, led by the lowest version of yourself. Lust doesn't just waste your time. It rewires your brain. It numbs your hunger for real love, real purpose, real power. It turns kings into clowns. Not all at once, but piece by piece. You stop chasing challenge. You stop chasing meaning. You become a man who watches instead of acts, who imagines instead of builds, who retreats instead of rises. And all the while, life moves forward without you. Other men sharpen their minds, strengthen their bodies, forge their futures, while you wait for the next notification, the next thrill, the next escape, controlled by thirst, by fantasy, by weakness. But you weren't made for this. You weren't made to kneel to urges. You were built to command them. The moment you reclaim your discipline, everything changes. Your focus sharpens. Your voice deepens. Your presence grows. You become dangerous again. Not reckless, but rooted, unshakable. That's when lust loses its grip. Not because it disappears, but because you've risen above it. You've remembered who you are and what you're here to do. Lust is the silent killer of kings. not because it storms the gates, but because it waits, patient, subtle, whispering in moments when you're weakest. It doesn't need to destroy you. It just needs to distract you from the mission, from the discipline, from the man you were meant to become. It's the reason your mornings start with regret, the reason your potential stays buried beneath excuses, the reason your dreams feel further every day, while your comfort zone tightens around you like a noose. You were meant to rise, to build, to conquer, to lead. But instead you chase shadows. You trade the infinite for the instant, your legacy for a loop, your edge for escape. Every time you open that app, every time you tell yourself it's harmless, every time you feed that impulse instead of starving it, you're not relaxing, you're not unwinding, you're unraveling. The strongest chains aren't the ones wrapped around your wrists. They're the ones you choose to wear, click by click, habit by habit. And what do you get in return? 5 seconds of numb pleasure, then guilt, then emptiness, then repeat. You think you're escaping pressure, but you're running from power, your own. Because real power demands focus. It demands restraint. It demands that you say no when it would be easier to say just one more time. But if you can win that war, if you can turn your back on the screen and face the silence like a warrior, that's where your edge begins. That's when your mind clears, your fire returns, your vision sharpens, because now you're no longer ruled by desire. You wield it, you channel it, you make it your servant, not your master. And that's how kings are forged, not by indulging impulse, but by mastering it. But the rare man, the disciplined man, he's dangerous, not because he's heartless, not because he walks around with a scowl or silence, but because he's in control. He doesn't flinch at temptation. He doesn't chase noise. He doesn't need to prove anything to anyone, because he knows something the world forgot. Power begins with self-mastery. His mind, it's not scattered, it's sharp. It doesn't beg for stimulation, it creates strategy. His body, not just for show but for battle. Trained, tempered, tuned like a weapon. And his lust, he doesn't deny it. He doesn't pretend to be above it. He channels it. That raw primal energy, he grabs it by the throat and turns it into progress, into grind, into focus, into reps, into hours poured into his craft when no one's watching. While others chase cheap highs, he stacks bricks, builds systems, designs a future that doesn't rely on chance or luck. He doesn't need constant reward. His reward is momentum. He doesn't escape his urges. He rides them like a wave and crashes them into purpose. He transmutes lust into hunger, not for bodies, but for mastery, for meaning, for legacy. That's what makes him dangerous. Not his size, not his voice, not even his status. It's his silence, his stillness, his refusal to break. Because in a world of men pulled by pleasure, he stands, anchored, unshaken, unmoved, unstoppable.